Hi, Chuck Franks here. I'm a certified professional coach. I'm also the president of the Heartland Coaches Alliance, the premier professional organization of coaches in Kansas City. Today we have with us Sheri Mortko, owner of Live Like You Mean It and You're Good to Go. And so my first question to you, Sheri, is tell me a little bit about yourself, about your business, and who you are.
My business is called Live Like You Mean It, and I am a professionally trained life and leadership coach. When I first ran across that phrase, Live Like You Mean It, I was completely smitten by that term and by what it represented to me, and was bold enough perhaps to believe that that would be a phrase that would stop people and ask them to think a bit about whether in fact they were living like they meant it. And so over the 8 years that I've been in business, I've discovered that human nature is what it is, and people are very quick to let you know who they are, and I find that a source of endless delight. I am always interested and amazed. It's a little like being an archaeologist, learning the culture of any given individual. And so my business orients around that. I talk a lot about coaching life's business from a faith perspective, and several things in that phrase that make a difference to me and to my clients. Coaching life's business means that it may be that it's your business that brings you to coaching, or it may be your personal life, the business of your personal life, or the business of your professional life. Either way, those are the things that we have to wake up to every day, are the bits and pieces of our life. And how do we keep those corralled? How do we keep those in a process so that it gives us life, that it is life-giving? And it's also my belief that a strong faith powers that, fuels that.
Sheri, tell me about your ideal client that you want to.
My ideal client is a smart, busy person who has to get stuff done. Folks who are, perhaps they know that they need to work on some fundamentals in order to play their game, or they may need to get back in the game after being out of it for a while, or they may be ready to play a bigger game, and they notice, as most professional athletes do, there's always a coach involved, somebody who can bring out and expand their best. Even Tiger Woods has a golf coach. May not be someone who's better than him, but knows how to get the best out of him. And that's one of the markers that I look for, is someone who kind of understands that logic. I do tend to work a lot with small business owners, solo business owners, as well as folks who serve in ministry. I find that it's fairly common for people who are in a ministry capacity to not know that saying no can be one of the best ways for them to say yes to what they believe they are called to do. And that spreads over into a lot of my work with most clients, is how do you look for and discern what your core values are, what is your mission, what's your vision, and how does that inform your life purpose? How do you get about the business of doing what you were put here to do? Everybody is a genius about something, and what gets me out of bed in the morning is knowing that I can help people discover and develop and deliver that genius, because only then can they take their place in the unique giftings that they have, and that one place they have in the world to serve and to leave it a better place.
Sheri, this is really fascinating. Can you tell me about the process by which you work with your clients?
I have a couple of different processes I use. The first one is what I call the genius process. We take a look at your strengths. We take a look at the skill sets you've acquired over time. We take a look at your savvy. What's the knack you have for certain things? And we look at your natural, both your learning style and your living style. What is your natural tendency about how you show up in the world and how you sift and sort and sprinkle your genius throughout what it is that you are about, whether it's raising a family or raising a business. There are unique ways that you show up in the world that I can help you leverage. I have a way of listening to people and learning about people and seeing how their dots connect. And, it's kind of like the fact that God didn't organize us so that we had eyes in the back of our head. We can't see everything about us. We don't have a 360 view of ourselves. And so somebody who comes along and can help you see in a 360 sort of way all of the ways that you show up in the world and all of the ways that that is part of a bigger design for a unique place for you in the world, a unique way of serving for you in the world, then that's the first main process I use. The second process can be when we need to stop and dig in deeply in one of those areas. And we look at foundationally, do you know what your core values are? Do you know what your vision is? Do you know what your mission is? How are you going to use your time, and what direction are you going to head in when you're doing that? And so we talk about the impact of your vision. Secondly, we talk about how do you get and stay strategic in your actions. We talk about any skills that perhaps need upgrading. We talk about how to create and maximize environments that support you and help you bring your best game every day. And then we talk about mastering your mind. If there are places where you typically get off track, then how do we take a look at those fixed beliefs and behaviors and get them back on track in a way that is more helpful and hopeful and life-giving for you?
Great. Is there anything that I haven't asked you or that you'd like to share with us today?
Sure. One of the things that I enjoy doing, like most coaches, is working with people one-on-one. But I also typically find that in what I call a collaborative conversation community, that means coaching in a group, there are absolutely magical things that can happen. When you get a group of like-minded people together and you listen for what's generated and created and catalyzed by there being a group. And everyone will bring their own particular genius to the conversation, so they will hear different things, they will process what they hear differently, and they will turn around and offer that back to the group in completely unique ways. And so I find that there's magic that happens when we create groups. And certainly in the back of my mind, I always have an awareness of where two or more are gathered. Then God shows up. And it is my belief and perspective that however you organize your thinking around a creator of the universe, if we seek to have that energy and that spirit amidst us and among us while we work, then he always shows up. Or she, if that's your inclination.
Excellent. How might someone reach you?
The standard ways, if you go to Live Like You Mean It, it's all one word, livelikeyoumeanit.com. My website will give you a phone number and an email. And certainly that is, a strategy that's pretty easy for most people to click on. You can get a little bit more of my background and the feel of how I work and who I work with. But certainly that's the first best place to go, is livelikeyoumeanit.com.
Thank you for sharing with us today, Sheri. That was very informative, and I really enjoyed listening to you. Also, I think I need to point out that Sheri is the past president and one of the founding members of the Heartland Coaches Alliance, which can be found at www.heartlandcoaches.org. And have a great day.